is Alex Barnes, and I'm from Maryland.
Alex, what was easy for you at school?
Mostly certain subjects such as like Earth Science and World History Review. That was in my freshman year, and in my junior year I had to take Intro to Chemistry and Physics, especially since you could use notes to prepare for upcoming tests and quizzes.
They were pretty factual type classes, weren't they?
A
lot of facts to know.
I was going to say, I think it depends on how the term factual would describe, but it makes sense, at least a little bit.
Alice, what was difficult for you at school?
Well, I know I used to get upset about, at least once in a while, over what now would be little things, and also trying to understand the curriculum of just about every subject at first, if not quite every subject in school, and also having to deal with other classmates who would tease too much or fool around too much or something, which I'd try to ignore as much as I could for starters. But then but I think at least a little later on I would try to talk to somebody about it. Whether it's a teacher or a vice principal or even the school psychologist.
What were some things teachers did to make understanding easier for you?
I would say, very often I'd often ask questions to one part of any part of the subject that we were all dealing with one day, and very often they give they try to give at least one or two examples as possible. Once, I'm not sure if I would get it at first, but it wouldn't be too long before I would start to just pick up on the example and eventually relate to it. That I think would seem to pay off. And in case if the teacher one day couldn't do it, couldn't answer all the questions, and luckily that's where the assistants would come in. That I think would be the smartness that would pay off eventually.
What did some teachers do for you that was not helpful?
I think there was one that I had that didn't couldn't always answer my questions to make sure I wanted to make sure I understood something, or at least one part of the subject that was being dealt with, and there was and I don't think there were any assistants just yet. There was one that I had who came from the business world that I didn't, and I'll admit I still don't know too much about, and I don't think she knew about my disability in return.
Weren't there like 20, 25 other people in the class?
I wouldn't know for sure.
I think it was, and then she used to tell you you just figure it out, you just work it out. And I think you used to tell us that.
I wouldn't. Where are we going with this? I'm not sure I know that much just yet.
Okay. Alex, do you have any advice for teachers with students who have autism?
I do. I'd say at first, I'd say get to know them. I'd say one by one. Whichever ones you have for the year, I'd say treat with as much care as possible. There could be at least one group, or maybe more than one group, whom you'd love to see go through face certain obstacles, such as like passing tests to begin with, and just try to face whatever obstacles come their way as well, and just eventually just coming right out on top.
Alex, I have one more question for you. Did you have a favorite teacher, and why was that your favorite teacher?
Oh God. Actually I had a couple. this really isn't fair to some people. I did have a couple, but more than one. It's difficult enough to single one out and say this one or that one's my top favorite. There was one that I had that was Coach Shelton, whom I had for health in high school. I don't remember. And he was very explainable and gave as many. I think he did give as many examples as I could. He was also as concerned a teacher, if not quite the most concerned of any other teacher that I've ever come to know myself. I definitely give him a lot of credit for that. And there was another guy, Coach Hawkins, Harry Hawkins is his actual name. He had since retired. I had him for American government in my sophomore year, and he had something something called bank points. You know, like in case, let's say you fail a test, but you passed one eventually. You would have and you got 100%, which means you would have 100 points or something, and you got a 58% on the next test. You could use nearly half of those bank points to turn the 58 into the top 100. So that's and I can also remember it was early on in my sophomore year. I told him that I remember this one part, one answer to I think it was one to. A member of What Famous Family proposed it, and he and his brother signed it for Virginia. I knew right off the bat that was the Lee family, and I told him that I had known that, and it had been in my head for which was 7 years at the time, and he had these 3 words that have still stuck in my head since, and that was basically, there you go. That's what he said, and that was how he said it. And I had another one named Miss Scarborough, who I would say is still teaching. I had her for English in my senior year. It's actually been months since the last time I saw her, and that was we would always learn anything about African Americans, even if it wasn't the month of February right on yet. At first I didn't really get it. It didn't really seem to kind of gel with me. But as time went on, as months went on, I started to understand it. I understood to pick up. I started to pick up on that a little bit, and she was probably the only teacher whom I actually whom I would ace all the weekly quizzes, like on Fridays and stuff. So, and she was very influential. I doubt you can find a better teacher like that.
Thank you, Alex.
I have a question.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I object. No.
Okay. If there was something you could change, or something you could do different, or something fix, whatever, about you, what would it be?
I'm stuck.
Well, you said one time about mouth trouble.
I did, but I wanted to. But I think the only thing I would have wanted to do would be if I did have mouth trouble. But I think I would have had to get out at least 1 or 2 pieces of paper, and if there were any questions that I had or something before I had any mouth trouble, I would just basically write it down so I would make sure I would remember to ask it later before the timing got too late. That's at least one thing that I can think of.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.